Hi everyone, my name's Britton Klein, Ad Sales Manager, and welcome to this week's edition of Marketing Minutes by Scuba Diving Industry Magazine.
And I'm William Klein, publisher. And if you're a dive company or entity out there and you'd like to go on this show, reach out to Britton or I. I think this is show number 78, as I recall.
Getting up there.
Yeah, I know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's hard to believe we've done almost 80 shows. So who do we have today with us?
Yes, so our guest today is Kramer Wimbley, board member for the nonprofit Diving with a Purpose and their CARES initiative. So Kramer, welcome to the show.
Thank you, gentlemen.
And thanks for
Happy to
being
be
here.
here.
It's so great. Thanks for popping by. Kramer was just recently on our Level Up podcast last week,
That's
the
right.
one that we just published, and he did a great job on the interview. He wrote an article for us back in November about this program, so go check out our November issue of Scuba Diving
Absolutely.
Industry Magazine. So it should be a great show.
Absolutely. But Kramer, just to dive right in, could you tell us a little bit about the Diving with a Purpose and how the CARES initiative expands on the organization's traditional maritime archaeology work?
Good question.
Diving with a Purpose is a citizen science-based program. We predominantly started our work doing maritime survey archaeology, looking for slave ships, particularly ships associated with the transatlantic slave trade.
Wow.
Okay? The effort began about 20 years ago, working with an archaeologist out of the Biscayne National Park, Brenda Lasendorf. She was in a documentary around the search for the slave ship Guerrero.
Wow.
And she was looking for people to assist her in the documentary. So she reached out to the National Association of Black Scuba Divers, of which I'm one of the members, and she got in contact with the founder of DWP, Ken Stewart. And after the documentary was done, because Ken wasn't able to be there for the documentary, he reached out to Brenda after the fact, and they had a series of discussions, and he was very interested in what it was that was happening. So he asked if anybody could do that kind of work. And she said, I'll teach anybody who wants to learn, but right now I'm the only diver in Biscayne, right? And I can't go out and document all of the ships that exist within the area
Right.
because we dive in buddy teams, and I need to have a buddy. So Ken thought to himself, I represent a whole host of divers. So he made a phone call to a couple of divers within the NABS organization and said, "You want to, instead of diving for fun, why don't we dive for a purpose and try and go and find this slave ship?" And Diving with a Purpose was born.
That's amazing.
So
That's
Wow.
very cool. Thanks
oh,
for taking the time to explain that because, it's always great to hear the history behind an organization.
Mhm.
So if this is a show that talks to dive shops and dive professionals in the industry, mostly dive stores and their staff. If a dive shop wanted to run a group or get involved with you,
Mhm.
I read on your website, you got a lot of travel opportunities. In fact, I think we have a slide of some of your most recent trips that are coming up right now. We'll put up on the board here, the video, while you chat about how a dive shop and their customers can get involved with your trips.
well, individuals can reach out directly to the organization on the website and identify whatever mission that they want to engage in, or a dive shop. If they have a group of divers that they want to come, they can reach out directly, and we can put a mission together for a particular shop. So typically, we have people that are coming on to scheduled missions that are occurring throughout the course of the year. But if a group is large enough, we can establish an individual mission just for that group. But we started working in the Florida Keys. That's our home base. So we've been doing missions there for the last 10 years, and then we began expanding out. So we've been doing annual trips to Honduras, to Barbados, for both our adults and our youth programs, and Panama.
So
Wow.
I think we
So
got
all they have to do is call me or send me an email and
go
we'll
through
figure something out.
That's amazing.
divingwiththepurpose.org. I think we've got a slide too that we had up a minute ago. We're going to bring it back that shows the trips. There's quite a few that you've got on the for 2026. Panama, Florida, Barbados, Panama, Honduras, and Honduras. So go to their website, check it out. There's a lot of cool
Absolutely.
activities they can get involved in, right, Brendan?
Totally, totally. Um, so Kramer, I saw on your website that Samuel L. Jackson, the Atlanta Falcons, the National Geographic Society, the Arthur M. Blank Family Foundation, and the AMB Sports and Entertainment all contributed to build and help build your nonprofit. Could you speak a little bit about those sponsorships and maybe about the real change that the dollars might have had on the industry?
That's a good question.
Yes. I did a documentary, a six-part series on the transatlantic slave trade with Samuel Jackson about 5 years ago. And because he took an interest and agreed to be a part of the documentary, having having had the opportunity to spend time with him, he could see the work that was going on and the effort. And he graciously agreed to assist in providing some funding and financing, and
Wow.
he actually brought the Atlanta Falcons and Arthur M. Blank
Wow.
on board to support the work that we were doing. And I am monumentally grateful for that because we work primarily, almost exclusively, also off of donations. We've been using that money to do our coral survey work and to do our um, youth programs and our coral outplanting. Through the funding that was provided, we were able to outplant over 4,000 corals
Wow.
on the reef in Florida and
Wow,
in the Caribbean. We surveyed
4,000.
over 5,000 square meters of reef.
Wow.
Wow.
And that's
So,
amazing.
but for the donations that were provided by Sam and those organizations, uh, a lot of that work would not have been able to happen.
Wow.
That's amazing. Can you talk a little bit and dive into that CARES program, the CARES initiative? And
Mm.
as I recall, there's four main pillars of your CARES initiative.
Yes, how far do you want me to go back? I've been I've been a diver for some 40 years, right? And I've seen the changes in the coral reef ecosystem. I started diving in the Northeast, but I've had an opportunity to dive all over the world. I've been fortunate that way, but I've seen the decline in the coral reef ecosystem from that time until this time. As a result of that, I feel an obligation um, to to present information and to share what my experience is and to train the next generation of divers to be of service to the ocean to try and make a difference. So I created the CARES program, which stand on four pillars: community education, getting out and telling everyone, divers and non-divers, about the importance of a healthy coral reef and how we're all connected, whether you're in a coastal community or not. So that's one thing. Two things is we've been dumping 7 million tons of plastics and garbage in the ocean on an annual basis, which is unsustainable. So we operate a trash debris program, and we partner with Key Dives and the National Marine Sanctuary to do a trash removal in the Keys
It's amazing.
on
That's
an
great.
annual basis, but on every dive that we go on, we're trying to remove plastics and garbage from the ocean. So that's a second pillar of the program. And the third pillar is coral ecosystem monitoring. We don't know how bad things are or how best to address the challenges if we can't document what the current health of the coral reef is. So we teach people how to conduct fish surveys and vertebrate surveys, substrate surveys, and roving coral surveys so we can collect data to assess what the health of the coral reefs is. And then our fourth pillar is ocean healing. We partner with a host of different organizations who have an outplant using the coral nursery method to plant corals back out onto the reefs to try and shock it back into health. So working with the Coral Restoration Foundation, Moat Marine Lab, iCare, which is a phenomenal
Yeah, in the Keys.
organization in the
Mhm.
Florida keys that we partner with on a regular basis. Oh my God.
I mean, it truly is diving with a purpose.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's
yeah. So
really
a collective
remarkable.
approach to restoring our ecosystem.
That's amazing.
Absolutely. That's incredible.
That
And
both youth, with both youth and adults. We keep the adults in one area, and during a separate time of the year, we get all of the kids together. We have a virtual training platform that they have to go through to understand the work and how to do the data collection, and then we bring everyone together and we do the data collection.
that's awesome. And I
Amazing.
love the attention to education as well. I mean, it's kind
Yes.
of, it's
Diving
very
with-
important.
Diving with a purpose.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
that's
kind of
right.
cool. Instead of just playing around, you're actually doing something down there.
That's right. But lastly, Kramer, if you, what is your favorite story or experience that you've had with your maritime archaeology training program?
With the training program or the diving itself, because I've had an
Mm.
opportunity to dive on some historic shipwrecks and wrecks associated with the transatlantic slave trade, right? So everyone wants to be able to get into the water and be able to say that they found that thing,
Mhm.
right? That identifies a particular shipwreck, and on some level, there's a sense of glory in it for you. But when you get into researching the history of these ships, it, all thoughts of yourself and glory tend to fall away,
Mhm.
right? Because you're trying to tell the story of people who lost their lives, the humanity and the inhumanity of what it was that took place.
Yeah.
So you kind of disappear because you're focused in on the mission of being able to tell the story of people who lost their lives there.
So it's
It's
very somber
emotional
experience, it sounds like.
and kind of work. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, but it's important. I mean, it's
Very,
really important. And thank
very
you
important.
for coming on our show and sharing a little bit about, your efforts and what you do there. And it sounds so needed. And,
Mhm.
us as a magazine, Scuba Diving Industry Magazine, would be happy to continue to partner with you. Just keep sending us those press releases. You got something new you want to
Absolutely.
talk about, we'll get you back on another show. Once you keep writing for us, I mean, we really think a lot about your organization, and we'd love to continue to get the word out as best we can.
Totally.
So, Britton, who do we got lined up for our next show?
That's right. So for our next guest on Marketing Minutes is going to be our very own Tech Clark, creator of a new college and university training program for retailers and dive pros as well. So stay tuned for that. It should be
It's
a
going to be
great
a
combo.
great interview. Tech's been working his whole life in the university world. So
Yeah.
that's going to do it for our show today. Thank you again, Kramer, for being on. And you can see all of our back issues of our magazine at scubadivingindustry.com. All of our YouTube channels are listed there, our individual videos. Subscribe to our channel. And last thing we see you on the boat.
That's right.